welcome to Chris Parkin Shooting Sports. Now, I don't often say this, but underneath my bench I've got one of my favourite rifles in the whole world. I have for several years had a little category called the Floating 5, and the Floating 5 was 5 rifles that I would personally like to own. Many of them have been through my hands in terms of a testing and review role. I've either shot them and loved them, or some others I've been shot and they've been fine, but they're not really for me. These are the 5 that really just caught my interest, and I thought they were superb. Not because they were massively expensive or they were particularly deluxe or anything like that, just because they were a fundamentally superb piece of engineering, a rifle to shoot, and something you can enjoy shooting. So what is it? Well, you're going to be quite surprised because it's not an expensive gun. It's a CZ457 rimfire. It's 2.2 synthetic 16-inch barrel. It's not the heavy barrel version. This is actually a used rifle Sportsman Gun Centre have sent me to do some long-term reviewing on, but they knew I really wanted to shoot one. Now you can see from my links here that I have reviewed pretty much every CZ457 rifle there is. So why is this one my favourite? Well, I need to review it and make sure I can shoot it first and enjoy it, but everything about this rifle is just what I think every shooter should have somewhere in their armoury or somewhere in their past history, because you've got the joy of shooting very low cost, economical, sort of 10 to 14 pence a shot, maybe 2.2 rimfire ammunition. You can shoot that everywhere from 10 metres to 200, 300 metres depending on your optic. It's got a simple stock. It's fully free floated, so you're not going to have any issues with barrel contact. It's threaded for a sound moderator. It's cold hammer forged barrel. The stock has got 2 studs on here, so you can put a bipod on and a sling. This one's actually come with a 10-shot magazine, which is not the standard item you get with it. Regularly, this rifle in the UK is about £600. You get a 5-round magazine for it. This one happens to have a 10, but it's no real issue. You can swap between 5s and 10s. I can tell it's been used a little bit. It's had a little bit of life, but there's no marks, no damage or anything like that to it. And I'm going to do a safe dry fire here, because one of the great things about the 457 is it's got a superb trigger. And that is fantastic, because I can feel the teeny tiniest little bit of creep in that trigger, but I know if I take that rifle apart I can adjust that trigger and I can get rid of that, because it's a gun that's made by engineers and shooters, not just by a marketing team. Now the length of pull on this rifle means it feels like a full-size unit, but you get good reach to it and you can operate that bolt really quickly. Your hand just locks back into the grip. It's got some nice inlaid panels here to give you a little bit more grip, and the grip itself's got an ideal reach to the trigger, so the gun doesn't feel like a teeny tiny rifle that you swamp and you kind of overwhelm. Removing the bolt from this rifle, it's left hand catch there, and it shows you one of the fundamentally smart things about the 457, because if I decock this bolt here, you can see that firing pin there. It's got a big flat top to it. Let me just bring this camera in. And you can see that big flat top there, which is what hits the big flat end of the barrel, so that the firing pin itself, although in use hits the brass, which is obviously in the corner of that chamber, you don't ever damage the firing pin by dry firing one of these. Now, damage to firing pins is sometimes a little bit exaggerated anyway, but I just love the fact that CZ designed this so you cannot damage it. Again, I'll decock it, so you can see that will be in the cock scenario there. Decock it like that in a fired scenario effectively, and you've got this nice sharp chisel tip pin here which will fire your cartridge with absolute regularity, but if you do dry fire them, you're never going to damage them because of that big flat end there that hits the back of the barrel. So I think that is one of the greatest design factors of this rifle. But it's not just about one design factor, it's about the homogeneous design of it, the way it handles, the feel of it. I've just got a few scopes and I'm going to actually review all the scopes on this rifle just because I love shooting 2.2 rimfire. You can push the ranges with it, you can actually use more of your optic and test more of your shooting skill at closer range without spending a huge amount of money on ammunition with 2.2 rimfire. So I might shoot it from bags, I might put a bipod on it, I will probably put a sound moderator on it because I'll usually shoot subsonic ammunition just because I like the peace and quiet of it. Length of pull on this rifle means it's a good fit for me, and just look how fast that bolt is. It's just totally natural. Now, I actually own a CZ457. I've swapped into American now. It's a CZ457 now. I actually have a CZ457 LRP, which is pretty much the extreme end of the CZ scale compared to this synthetic hunting rifle. And I love that too. I've made a few changes to it over time, and that's going to be featured in some of the reviews as you've seen over the years anyway. But this one, it's got the standard dovetail on it, no Picatinny rail, it's just beautifully simple, and I think it's a rifle that it is perfect. And I don't say that easily. I cannot actually say there is anything about this gun I don't think is well designed, well made, will last a lifetime, and is desirable to own. And I own some, well, I don't own any ridiculously expensive rifles, but I've owned many rifles, and I've reviewed hundreds, I've shot thousands, both in written articles and in video more recently over the last few years. But I've been writing for 15 years about rifles. I've been shooting rifles 30 years now. So it's interesting that something like this can come along, and I was really, really pleased when I opened the box yesterday, because I didn't know what they were sending me. They were just sending me a sort of a rifle to use for general purpose reviewing kind of stuff, and it actually came in another rifle's box, and I was a bit disappointed when it came in another rifle box, and then I opened it and this was inside, and I just thought, oh, fantastic, because I've reviewed this rifle in the 20-inch barrel format, I've reviewed it in the short varmint barrel format, but I've never reviewed it in the 16-inch slim barrel format, and that to me is the ultimate 2.2 rimfire rifle. Now, that's to me. Many people will like semi-automatics. Many people will want rifles for, you know, competition standards, or bench rest guns, they want this, that. That's fine. I just think that I think it's the only rifle I've ever reviewed and actually not quite had. I've had it reviewed in all sorts of formats, but I've never had this exact format, and it's the format I wanted. And I think it is the only rifle I can say is, in my opinion, I think that is perfect, and I would really like to hear your opinion on that, because this one's going to get used quite a lot. Now, over the coming months, I'm going to be doing some reviews of this. I'm going to shoot it alongside the 457 LRP with the match chamber, the 20-inch barrel, the big heavy stock, big scopes, this, that and the other. We're going to see which one shoots better at 50 metres, 100 metres, which one gives us the most velocity consistency, which one's a bit more versatile. You know, this one's great for hunting, that one's great for shooting targets, but this one will shoot targets and that one will hunt, but I know which one I'd rather be carrying around all day. So I actually quite like the fact it's got this 10-round magazine in it, because I can almost sort of stand there and hold it like that, and it's great. So what else can we say about it? You don't often see me like this, do you? You just don't often see me like this. So this is going to be going out shooting, going to enjoy it, and yes, so please like, subscribe, click the notification bell, dong, and make sure you keep track of my regular uploads, because you'll have seen me review a lot of rifles. You'll see me hopefully review a lot more rifles, but I don't think you'll ever see me review a rifle that I've kind of aspired to, even though it's not even massively expensive, but it's just because I just think it's perfect. There we go. Right. As I've just said it, like, subscribe, comment, all that malarkey, but please keep track of the regular uploads. Submit all your comments on this gun, because I would love to read them and what you think about it. And stick with the channel. Right, thanks for watching. Bye for now.